Hello everybody. In this video we will try to understand what happens when Jupiter is present in Swathi nakshatra. So in order to understand the energy of this particular placement, first we need to understand what is Jupiter in Vedic astrology and what is the energy of Swathi nakshatra as per Vedic astrology. So now Jupiter is called as Guru or Brihaspati in Vedic astrology. It basically represents your wisdom. How much wisdom a person would have in his life can be decided by the dignity and placement of Jupiter in the native's horoscope. And what kind of dharma, what kind of righteousness and knowledge, teaching abilities, expansion and growth of the person can be decided by Jupiter's placement. And the morality and ethics and the spirituality, these are the main things that we can decide by the placement of Jupiter in a horoscope. And one more important thing is, wherever Jupiter sits in a chart, it tries to expand knowledge in that particular area. And the fundamental thing in Vedic astrology is Jupiter expands whatever it touches. So if it is touching the Swathi nakshatra energy, it is going to enhance the Swathi nakshatra energy. And Jupiter, if functionally benefic to your ascendant, it is one of the luck-giving planet. It's one of the luck-giving planets in the whole Vedic astrology. So you can understand that Jupiter is divine blessings if it is a functionally benefic to your ascendant, right? So let us say I'm seeing one horoscope, I'm checking where is the Jupiter for this particular person. If this Jupiter is, let us say, in a very good nakshatra, or if it is in a very good house like Kendra houses 1, 4, 7, 10, or Trikona houses, right? The 5-9, 1-5-9 we generally say, so 5-9. So if Jupiter is present somewhere here in these house numbers, generally we consider this Jupiter is a bit stronger. And the Jupiter degrees, if Jupiter degrees are in between 10 and 20, that is a kind of young Jupiter. Means a Jupiter having more strength. If it is crossing 25 degrees or if it is less than 5 degrees, then if it is less than 5 degrees, the Jupiter is a kind of immature, or it's a balya avastha, we say, means the Jupiter is in a kind of childhood. And if it is crossing 25 degree, we consider this particular Jupiter is a very, very matured Jupiter. It's an old Jupiter. It's a bit weaker also because it is already older. So if a Jupiter is in balyavastha, that is in the childhood or in the old age, then you may need to provide some strength to that Jupiter, right? That is one thing. And let us say the Jupiter is in some signs, like Jupiter is in the sign of Sagittarius or in the sign of Pisces. It is considered to be a strong Jupiter because it is in its own sign. And some astrologers would also say swasthana hantaha, means whenever Jupiter is in the swasthana, means in its own house, in its own sign, it may not give much results, because why they say is Jupiter is always given some kind of Brahminical qualities, or you can say a kind of wisdom oriented personality. It's not about intelligence, it's not about your logical thinking. Jupiter doesn't decide your logical thinking. Jupiter doesn't decide your intelligence. Intelligence and logical thinking are always decided by Mercury, the planet Mercury, even your academics. But Jupiter gives you wisdom, right? So this particular Jupiter, when it is not so matured, or if it is in the balyavastha, in the childhood or in the old age, then you can provide some strength to that Jupiter, that is fine. And Swasthana Hantaha means when a Jupiter is in the Swasthana in its own house, it may not give good results, because Jupiter, when in its own sign, then it feels like, I am in its own sign. Whenever a wisdom oriented person is in its own house, he is living in his own house, he may not feeling like working more. He may have wisdom, but he may not want to, try for more money or more luxury or something. But in the age of Kali, especially, or in any age you can consider, the a person's success would be decided by what kind of luxury he is enjoying. Of course, there were some times where, knowledge and the wisdom was given more priority, but in the age of Kali, you can say the main thing is your success is decided by your luxury, your money, all those things. And when Jupiter is in its own house, it feels like I'm already in the own house, I am already giving my best, kind of, right? So such a Jupiter is considered to be a Swasthana Hantaha, means that it may not give great results at all, or the immaturity of Jupiter may spoil that house to some extent, because it's immature, because it is feeling that I am already in my own house, then why should I work more, kind of attitude it shows, right? That's where, otherwise, when Jupiter is sitting in its own house, it should be considered as a stronger Jupiter. That's one thing I want to tell. And so, based on the sign, based on the number, the house number, you can decide strength of the Jupiter and where it is placed in the Navamsha. In the Navamsha, in which sign it is placed. The sign is very important in Navamsha Chakra, right? That is one thing you can decide. So now, and in which nakshatra your Jupiter is present. Because in Vedic astrology, the fundamental thing is a planet works for its nakshatra lord. So the nakshatra lord's placement, right, is very much important, because let's say here in our example, Jupiter is sitting in the Swathi nakshatra. So here Rahu's placement is very much important, because even though your Jupiter is in a very good house number, in a very good sign, ultimately it is working for its nakshatra lord, even though it is placed in a good Navamsha sign, but still this Jupiter is working for its nakshatra lord Rahu. If Rahu is somewhere sitting in a bad house, then basically your Jupiterian energies are going into, finally they are resulting into that Rahu's significations, wherever Rahu sits, right? Because Jupiter in our example is sitting in the Swathi nakshatra, right? So that's why the nakshatra lord's placement is also very important. Now, let's observe what is the Swathi nakshatra. See, whenever people talk about Lord Hanuma or Bhima, right, in the Mahabharata, the character Bhima, when we talk about that, we always talk about Swathi nakshatra, because it has that much of energy, right? Swathi, this Bhima and also the Lord Hanuma are very much famous for their energy. Now, Swathi nakshatra lies in Libra, the sign of Libra, in the heart of Libra, you can say, in the middle of Libra, and is ruled by Rahu. Basically, it's a Rahu nakshatra. So, Swathi nakshatra is very much famous for one quality, that is independence. Swathi means independence. You can equate both, But of course, the meaning of Swathi in Vedic literature is different. But the behavior I am talking about here, that is, independence is nothing but Swathi. Swathi is nothing but independence, right? And it's a kind of a nakshatra. It loves freedom. It's a freedom-loving nakshatra. There's a self-learning ability is another important thing when you talk about Swathi. We quote self-learning ability. Adaptability like wind. And whenever you talk about wind, you talk about Lord Hanuma also. And then trade and business skills. are a bit exceptional in this particular Swathi energy because they are very good at trading and business skills. Even the nature allows them to do good trading and to have good business skills. Exploration and curiosity is another important thing when you talk about Swathi energy. So the symbolism is young plant moving in the wind. Just imagine a young plant moving in the wind. The young plant means it has lot and lot of energy. It has the energy to grow because it is young. And then it is moving in the wind. That means it has lot of freedom. So that is Swathi. That is the inner behavior of Swathi nakshatra. So it has flexibility, it has growth through independence. And who is the deity of Swathi? It's Vayu, the god of wind. That's why this particular deity gives lot of movement, lot of communication, an air element in intelligence, curiosity and restlessness to these natives. So basically Swathi means movement, freedom and exploration. That's it. Swathi is movement, Swathi is freedom, Swathi is exploration. Now when Jupiter is sitting in this Swathi nakshatra, what happens? Jupiter always believes in truth and wisdom. Rahu always believes in experimentation and unconventional thinking. So this combination creates a person who questions the traditional knowledge because of the Rahu's influence. It creates a person who explores new philosophies because Jupiter is philosophy, Jupiter is traditional knowledge. But Rahu questions the traditional knowledge, and Rahu also explore the philosophies here, right? So Jupiter in this particular Rahu's energy learns through personal experience because Swathi is that. Swathi always learns through personal experience. Instead of blindly following some religion, they try to understand truth themselves because Swathi is always about self-learning ability. And when Jupiter is in Swathi, you can clearly see a person, the person is becoming very, very independent thinker. It doesn't follow gurus blindly at all. Creates own philosophy also. He's a self-made learner. I can see if you're giving me a horoscope and I'm seeing Jupiter in Swathi nakshatra, I feel that this particular native is a self-made learner. Even if I say something, he would not believe it blindly. I get that picture from that person. So this person only learns through life experience, not by somebody. Even if somebody tells 100 times, he would not believe, he would not understand, he would not experience it. He may not be able to feel it. But when the person learns through self-experience, yes, he understands it better. The person is very curious about different cultures because Jupiter is culture, and as Rahu's energy, the Swathi energy, which is exploration energy, gives the ability to explore all this different cultures, especially the foreign knowledge, international exposure. And now Swathi is very much famous for diplomatic nature. It's because Swathi lies in Libra. Libra is all about the social skills. The social skills are always about the diplomatic skills. Because when you're a diplomat and try to get your own benefit by your intelligence, that is Swathi. And Rahu gives that diplomatic nature here. So this particular person who is having Jupiter in Swathi nakshatra is diplomatic because Swathi lies in Libra. Swathi is the center of Libra. So that gives that balance and diplomacy, basically. Right? Swathi is always about that balance through diplomacy. Because of that, Libra itself is independent by that balance, right? So this is the picture I get from Jupiter and Swathi. Then what kind of career this particular person can go for? He can go for international trading, because the trading, the international, these are all coming because of the Rahu's influence. Teaching foreign philosophy. You want to teach foreign philosophy, because teaching is Jupiter and foreign culture is this particular Rahu, and even the philosophy is Jupiter. Diplomacy. Swathi is very much famous for diplomacy and law also, because they can maintain the balance, they can behave diplomatically and try to understand the picture clearly. And business consulting. Spiritual research is another important thing. Astrology, of course, Jupiter and Swathi can give you good abilities of becoming an astrologer also. So these people often deal with global knowledge or some kind of cross-cultural systems. That's what I can say. So, and as we're talking about Jupiter, we should talk about spiritual growth also. So spiritual growth happens differently here, not just normally, because it is a Rahu nakshatra. Jupiter is spirituality, and you have to say something about spirituality here. And the spirituality comes by questioning. First of all, this person they question the traditional religion. So questioning the beliefs is one thing, and then exploring different philosophies. Now, the person questioned the existing philosophy, existing belief system of himself or whatever he is seeing, and then he explores different philosophies. Okay, this is the philosophy that the people around me are following, or I am believing in, or I am taught to believe in. But now I want to explore other philosophies also. Okay, let me explore all the different philosophies. Now, after that, the person builds some strong personal truth. Finally, they become teachers of some kind of universal wisdom also, because they believe in self-learning, they do self-learning, right? And what about the adaptability? Because it's a Rahu nakshatra, Rahu is famous for that adaptability, because Swathi, of course, is the most independent nakshatra, and Jupiter here gives ability to survive anywhere, ability to adjust to changing circumstances, and intellectual flexibility is what I can see here, Jupiter and Swathi. So intellectual flexibility, based on that, the person can study anything, right? It doesn't matter. So like wind moving around obstacles, right? It's basically a very, very flexible, business oriented, trading oriented, and then a kind of exploring various philosophies, various knowledge systems, various belief systems, various cultures. So this is the energy one can feel by seeing this, right? It's an independent thinker energy, a self-made learner energy, the curious about different cultures, right? That is the fundamental feeling one can get by seeing this. And what can be the negatives? What can be the negatives? Because this Jupiter, which is in Swathi nakshatra, if it is not having any malefic aspect, that's fine. But if it is having some Mars or Saturn aspect, what would happen? Because in Vedic astrology, there's one fundamental thing. See, Saturn and Mars can be functionally benefic or functionally malefic with respect to your ascendant, but their aspects are always malefic. And what if this Saturn or Mars, one of them is watching this particular Jupiter? So Jupiter gains some kind of maleficity here. Or what if this Jupiter is present on the Rahu Ketu axis? Whenever a planet is present on Rahu Ketu axis, the planet is said to be an afflicted planet. What is afflicted planet? It is sitting on Rahu Ketu axis. What happens because of that? The general nature is changed. It can be minimized or maximized. It is a kind of a bit abnormal situation. It's not a regular planet anymore. Because of the Rahu Ketu influence here, the energy would change. It can sometimes it is lower, sometimes it is higher, a bit abnormal, we say, the planet's energy. So If this particular Jupiter sitting in the Rahu nakshatra Swathi is, let us say, watched by Saturn or Mars, or if it is afflicted, then the person may, it's something like there are some struggles like too many beliefs. Person is having too many beliefs. And you might be thinking why this person is having too many beliefs. It's a kind of abnormal thing here. And confusion about philosophy. The person is confused about philosophy. Or the person is spiritually wandering here and there. So the spiritual system is a bit becoming abnormal here. Or ego about his own knowledge. He would be having lot of knowledge about this philosophy or cultures or whatever, and he is suffering from ego, his own ego. So if this particular Jupiter is having some kind of maleficity, the person may become some kind of pseudo-intellectual or a kind of confused guru. He is a guru because Jupiter is in Swathi, but it is afflicted because of Rahu Ketu axis, or if it is watched by Saturn or Mars, the Jupiter is not the regular Jupiter, so it's a kind of, I'm seeing a confused guru. He's a guru. He has knowledge about different systems, different cultures, different philosophies, but still he is confused, right? Kind of personality I can see. A pseudo-intellectual personality I can see. But when Jupiter is not having any Saturn or Mars aspect, or not on Rahu Ketu axis, then this Jupiter is stronger and the person becomes broad-minded, very broad-minded, global thinker, you can say, and he's a wise teacher, I would say, very, very wise. Because Jupiter expands whatever it touches, and this Rahu also has that nature. Rahu also has out-of-the-box thinking, and the Swathi energy is much more expanded by this Jupiter. So I can see a very wise teacher if this Jupiter is not afflicted or not having any malefic aspect. Right? A great diplomat of knowledge I am seeing in this strong Jupiter. Right? So basically, Jupiter in Swathi, I am seeing a freedom-loving philosopher, or in a kind of independent thinker, the person who gains wisdom through exploration or through self-learning rather than just from, some tradition or some, a regular, in a regular pattern. It's not a regular pattern at all. I'm seeing, right, a wise thinker, right, with a strong Jupiter here. So that is the overall energy I feel with this placement. Thanks for watching this video.